Hello and welcome to things I find interesting that happened today in the past, aka Tifitht Itp. This show is all about the historical events of the past, both recognized by actual historians and ones I personally find interesting enough to talk about. My information comes from the smart device application on this day, the icon of which can be seen as cutoff prevention at the beginning and end of this video. Anyway, on with the show! Today is Thursday, December 17th, 2015. In 2014, the United States and Cuba re-established diplomatic relations after having severed them 55 years ago. In 2010, Mohamed Bouazizi set himself on fire. This act became the catalyst for the Tunisian Revolution and the wider Arab Spring. In 2005, anti-World Trade Organization protesters rioted in Wan Chai, Hong Kong. In 2003, Spaceship One, piloted by Brian Binney, made its first powered and first supersonic flight. In 1997, the British Firearms Act of 1997, aka Amendment 2, came into force, banning all handguns with the exception of antique and show weapons. So now, if you defend your property, you can do it in style. In 1989, Fernando Collor de Mello defeated Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva in the second round of the Brazilian presidential election, becoming the first democratically elected president in almost 30 years. In 1987, Final Fantasy was released in Japan on the Famicom, marking the start of the Final Fantasy series and saving Square from bankruptcy. In 1969, during Project Blue Book, the United States Air Force closed its study on UFOs. Closed, yeah, more like solved. In 1969, the SALT I talks began. Wow, I had no idea Arcade Faction Chat was that old. In 1967, Australian Prime Minister Harold Hall disappeared while swimming near Portsea, Victory, and is presumed drowned. In 1957, the United States successfully launched the first Atlas intercontinental ballistic missile at Cape Canaveral, Florida. In 1951, the U.S. Civil Rights Congress delivered We Charge Genocide to the United Nations. In 1947, the Boeing B-47 Stratojet strategic bomber made its first flight. In 1943, all Chinese were again permitted to become citizens of the United States with the repealing of the Act of 1882 and the introduction of the Magnuson Act. In 1938, Otto Hahn discovered the nuclear fission of the heavy element uranium, the scientific and technological basis of nuclear energy. In 1935, the Douglas DC-3 made its first flight. In 1919, Uruguay became a signatory to the Buenos Aires Copyright Treaty. In 1907, Eugene Wangchuck was crowned first king of Bhutan. In 1903, the Wright brothers made the first controlled-powered, heavier-than-air flight in the Wright Flyer at Kitty Hawk, North Carolina. In 1896, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania's Schenley Park Casino, which was the first multi-purpose arena with the technology to create an artificial ice surface in North America, was destroyed by fire. What's with things that create ice catching on fire? Wait a minute, what's this? Oh no! In 1892, the first issue of Vogue was published. In 1865, the first performance of the Unfinished Symphony by Franz Schubert occurred. In 1862, during the American Civil War, General Ulysses S. Grant issued General Order No. 11, expelling Jews from parts of Tennessee, Mississippi, and Kentucky. In 1835, the Great Fire of New York leveled Lower Manhattan. In 1790, the Aztec calendar stone was discovered. And in 1777, during the American Revolution, France formally recognized the United States. Deaths, Kim Jong-il, 2011. And that concludes things I find interesting that happened today in the past. For your dose of past events daily, I am Mayo, and you are you. Toodles!